I'm live. All of you have seen my bruised face, and I really don't feel like showing it. So, for Handmaid's Tales, I am reading the Testaments by Margaret Atwood. I'm reading page by page. I have not read the book. I am reading the book live when I read it with all of you that have joined 61 people. Thank you for joining me. It's so nice. It really is. I never even thought one person would join. And um, yeah, thank you. So let's start reading, okay? And then you don't have to look at me. I am going to try to figure out how to compartmentalize the readings so that all the Testament readings are on one channel, etc., etc. We last left off at page 34, and the next chapter is The Clothes Hound. Page 34, The Testaments, Margaret Atwood. My hands should she end up there, baby Nicole would have a brilliant future. Such were my thoughts during the closing hymn, sung in harmony by a trio of young supplicants. Their voices were pure and clear, and the rest of us listened with rapt attention. Despite what you may have thought, my reader, there was beauty to be had in Gilead. Why would we not have wished for it? We were human after all. Under his eye, under beams of truth shine out. We see all sin. He shall observe you at your going out, your comings in. From every heart we wrench the secret vice. In prayer and tears decree the sacrifice. Sworn to obey, obedience we command, we shall never serve. We shall never swerve to duties harsh. We lend a willing hand. We pledge to serve all idle thoughts, all pleasures we must quell. Self we renounce, in selflessness we dwell. I actually believe I read that part. Let's go to the Clothes Hound. And this would be page 39, transcript of witness testimony, 369b. As you all know, I did fall off the scooter. This is not Margaret Atwood, this is Lasha. I think I can only get through a couple of more pages, but I'm reading it along with you, and I'm finding it quite satisfying and quite interesting. Transcript of witness testimony. They say I will always have the scar, but I'm almost better. So yes, I think I'm strong enough to do this now. You said that you'd like me to tell you how I got involved in this whole story, so I'll try. Though it's hard to know where to begin. I'll just start before my birthday, or what I used to believe was my birthday. Neil and Melanie lied to me about that. They'd done it for the best of reasons, and they'd meant really well. But when I first found out about it, I was angry at them. Keeping up my anger was really difficult, though, because at the time they were dead. You can be angry at dead people, but you can never have a conversation about what they did, or you can only have one side of it. And I felt guilty as well as angry because they'd been murdered. And I believed then that their murder was my fault. I was supposed to be turning 16. What was I most looking forward to was getting my driver's license. I felt too old for a birthday party, though Melanie always got me a cake and ice cream and sang, "Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer," an old song I'd loved as a child and was now finding embarrassing. I did get the cake later, chocolate cake, vanilla ice cream, my favorites, but by then I couldn't eat it. By that time, Melanie was no longer there. The birthdays was the day I discovered that I was a fraud, or not a fraud, like a bad magician, a fake, like a fake antique. I was forgery, done on purpose. I was so young at that moment. Ugh, just a split second ago, it seems. But I'm not young anymore. How little time it takes to change a face. Carve it like wood, harden it. No more of that wide eyed daydream gazing I used to do. I've become sharper, more focused. I've become narrowed. Neil and Melanie were my parents. They ran a store called The Clothes Hound. It was basically used clothing. Melanie called it previously loved because she said used meant exploited. The sign outside showed a smiling pink poodle in a fluffy skirt with a pink bow on its head, carrying a shopping bag. Underneath was a slogan in italics and quotation marks. You'd never know. That meant the used clothes were so good you'd never know they were used. But that wasn't true at all because most of the clothes were crappy. Melanie said she'd inherited the clothes hound from her grandmother. She also said she knew the sign was old fashioned, but people were familiar with it, would be disrespectful to change it now. Our store was Queen West in a stench of blocks that had once all been like that, said Melanie. Textiles, buttons and trims, cheap linens, dollar stores, but now it was going upmarket. Cafes with fair trade and organic were moving in. A big brand outlets named Boutique. In response, Melanie hung a sign in the window, wearable art, but inside the store was crowded with all kinds of clothes you would never call wearable art. I find this book fascinating, and I'll be continuing tomorrow on page 41. And I wish you all a blessed evening. Praise be. It's not funny, actually. Look at what's going on in the world. At any rate, I really love this, and thank you for joining me.